Evening. How are you all doing? Now, I'm back with another video, guys. I'm your host, yours truly, Mel. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I am asking you kindly to like, share, subscribe. Okay, so I'll be continuing the reading of this book. I started out a couple days ago. I missed some days, but now I am back, guys. So this is the book we're reading, Prevail, and it's written by Dr. Cindy Trimm, discovering your strength in hard places. All right, so this book, it is so inspirational, guys. I ain't wasting no time. I'm getting right into it. So we have discussed about the diamond in this book. It tells us that we are diamonds. We are diamonds, and you know that diamonds are precious things, right? So I'm gonna continue to read, and those of you who want to hear the beginning, you can go back to the previous videos and listen to what I've already read. Okay? So grab your popcorn, sit back, relax, and let us read. All right. Hi, Better Show. How are you? So, facet 2 speaks about reading the signs. And it says, without problems, you would never change. Thank you for that thumbs up. Without problems, you would never change. Because really and truly, sometimes is that what we go through, give us more wisdom, and it changes our whole perspective of life. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Thank you for being here too. And though it doesn't seem to make sense, without setbacks, things would always stay the same. And that is true. Setbacks, shake-ups, and breakup are wake-ups. Let me say that again. She said setbacks, shake-ups, and breakups are wake-ups. Overcoming resistance is how you become stronger. Anyone who has ever been to the gym will tell you that resistance training is the only way to strengthen your muscles. And that without some degree of resistance in your day-to-day, moving about and doing things, your your muscles, your mind, and ultimately your life would atrophy. So if you are not continually rising to a new challenge, reaching for bright heights, you're stagnating. In order to grow, you must stretch yourself, your mind, body, and will. So example, we're here as YouTubers, we need to have this persistency. This is what we need to do. We need to stretch ourselves so we can reach the mark. All right? The key is not to get stuck overanalyzing your situation or overwhelmed by the resistance you feel or seduced into believing you are trapped by your circumstances, because you are not. And that's how some people feel sometimes, or I should say that's how we feel sometimes, that we are trapped in our circumstances. There are cycles that can keep you running in circles: toxic relationships, counterproductive environments, addictive habits you'll need to take authority over, and dry wilderness seasons you'll want to find your way out of. Have you ever been to that wilderness or been in that wilderness season? I have been there. I can tell you about the wilderness. I can tell you every part and corner of the wilderness. Yes, I can. God does not allow these into your life for your destruction. but to get you out of where you are now to bring you to someplace better. So, in so many words, when we go through our wilderness season, our trials, our tribulation, or whatever you call it is for a reason. And it goes back to show that we are truly diamonds. Because remember, the diamond, it have to go through the fire. Yes, before it becomes a diamond. It have to go through the fire and trim up and, all those things before you see the glistening coming out of it. So, as we go along, just remember we are diamonds and we must go through something for better thing. He allows discomfort so you can settle once and for all that you deserve better. Notice I said God allows. Thank you for the heart, darling. Many of these situations we find ourselves in are of our own doing, not God's. It's true. Sometimes we are the ones who cause our storm. Yes, if we be true, we can say that sometimes we are the ones that cause certain things to happen to us. Yes, we are. That means if you have the power to create a particular situation, then you have the power to eliminate that situation, right? So it can be on the reverse, yes. To prosper from your problems, you have to be convinced that not only do you deserve better, but you also have the power to do and be better. Yes, we can. You have the power to create the change you want to see. Learning to view your difficult situations as signposts is vital to your growth. Right? They are tools you can use to redirect, change course, or plot a new destination. Problems are simple indicators giving feedback, like a wind gauge or a compass. As the old saying goes, don't shoot the messenger. And it's the first I'm hearing that one. Don't shoot the messenger. All right, so remember, setbacks, shake-ups, and breakups are wake-ups. Yes. Let us believe in ourselves, no? Let us believe in ourselves. Let us believe that we can do it. Let us believe that we can make it, right? All right, so this subheading says, problems present opportunities to review your life strategy. Problems have a way of jolting us out of our usual routines into the defining moments. The experience we receive from facing our problems rather than running from them is of invaluable benefit. No matter how bad things seem, if you approach problems as learning opportunities, you will see your way through them. Ask yourself, what am I to learn? Because sometimes this situation, is a lesson. There's something that we must learn from it. Also ask yourself, how can I use this to assist me in defining the new path I will take to fulfill my purpose and maximize my potential? So you see, the problem is like a compass. It gives you direction. But if you stop to pay attention to the problem, then you don't know where you are going. All right? So you have to ask yourself the hard questions and force yourself to answer without justifying, rationalizing, or explaining circumstances away. Don't get too caught up with how did I get here as much as asking yourself, where do I really want to be? What road must I take to get there? What are my options? What is the best decision I can make based on these options? All right, so you can write down these questions. Ask yourself them, right? So whenever you're going through the problem, you can just look back on the questions and write them down. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. You will be tempted to overanalyze, second guess, and go around and around like planes circling, never able to land. Don't get trapped by the paralysis of analysis. Never seek justification. Refuse to use people as alibis. This is your life. So remember that. Don't blame anybody when you go through your problem. Don't talk and say, and if time this and if that and if that. No. It is your life. Alright? So you need to know what to do. You must own the decision for the change you seek and then harness the power of your will to make it happen. If you don't like your life, change it. Yeah. Getting advice from people you trust and finding an objective opinion or two before you decide to act is fine. But then you must act decisively and with conviction. In the worst instance, you will encounter a roadblock, another problem, and yet another opportunity to reflect, reevaluate, and redirect. Another opportunity to improve and grow. I love this book. I really do. There is tremendous power available to those who are willing to stop, take stock, and simply reflect the midst of life circumstances. I have discovered that just taking moments to think and record my thoughts help me through the most turbulent times. Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, starts with the word think. So you gotta decide, what can I do to get out of this problem, right? He postulates that everything in life starts and finishes with our thoughts, and that's true. The quality of our thoughts determines the quality of our lives. Thinking is something you don't need a master's degree to do. It's absolutely free. So why not think for a change? Your life can only go where your mind is willing to take it. It's a matter of your will. So knowing that you are fully able, are you fully willing? Use your present difficulties as an opportunity to review your life strategy. What got you here will never be enough to take you someplace different. Okay? All right. So I'm moving on to another subheading. In the meantime, I'm asking you kindly to just hit that thumbs up button. That little button that looks like this. So, yeah. Just hit that thumbs up button and give me some likes, all right? Like and share. And remember to subscribe, all right? So this subheading says, problems are cycle breakers. Problems are cycle breakers. Quite simple, as Dr. Henry Cloud explained. We change our behavior when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing. Consequences give us the pain that motivates us to change. In other words, consequences make us willing to change. And the power of will is especially needed when we find ourselves trapped in a negative cycle of self-defeating habits, thoughts, patterns, or reaction. Okay. Cycles have to be broken if you are to free yourself from the centrifugal force of the whirlpools they create. If you are to get out of the present lifestyle that you are living in now and you have to change the cycles and patterns that have created the life. Randy Porsche, with only 6 months left to live, authored a book entitled The Last Lecture. Oh my, I would love to read that. The Last Lecture. Okay. And in it, he wrote, the brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something. Because the brick walls are there to stop the people who don't want it badly enough. How are you going to get over that brick wall? Are you going to climb over it? Hmm? Are you going to use a hammer and pound out piece and go through it? How? Right? You have to figure out that strategy of how to get over your brick wall. Problems are like those brick walls. If you accept your habits as unalterable and unchangeable, you will never break through into a new way of living. However, if you embrace problems for their intrinsic value and power to transform you from within rather than their intrinsic impact on your circumstances, they can be the catalyst that rupture old cycles and propel you forward. You have the prerogative to call a timeout and to decide when enough is enough, because you'll always get what you are willing to put up with. Problems often come to push you beyond what you allow. So you will make it a change. When faced with problems that seem insurmountable, however, you must resist the desire to check out. Instead, going for the gold, digging deep and playing full out. For this is when winning points are scored and touchdowns are made. Cycles of failure can be replaced with cycles of success. Old cycles of abuse, oppression, and misuse can be replaced with new cycles of respect, accomplishment, and honor. Old cycles of rejection can be replaced with new cycles of recognition and celebration. Poverty can be replaced with the prosperity. Cycles of addiction, deviance, and perversion can be placed with cycles of discipline, decency, and wholesomeness. Even criminal behavior can be replaced with honesty, moral conduct, and an honorable lifestyle. Living hand to mouth can be replaced with living from an abundance of reserves, having more than enough, and building for the future. Confronting and solving problems before you can be the impetus to reverse the downward cycle you are currently experiencing into an upward cycle of abundance, growth, success, and prosperity. For, as stated the poet Tully Kupferberg, I hope I'm pronouncing these words correctly. Tully Kupferberg, when old patterns are broken, new worlds emerge. All right, so the next subheading says, problem mark the ending of one season and the beginning of another. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so problems mark the ending of one season and the beginning of another. So that is the next subheading. Problems mark the ending of one season and the beginning of another. All right. There's always a transitional process that occurs to take you from one state into another. When people change, it is usually because their negative emotional patterns have become too painful for them to tolerate or become their entire world seems to be falling apart. The period is usually characterized by disintegration, disillusionment, disillusionment, and disorientation, which are typically experienced in stepping out from the old and into the new. Yeah. Many psychotherapists refer to this as the limbo of chaos and uncertainty. It's a state from which you are motivated to change by the persuasive nature of the very pain you are enduring. It comes at the point you decide that you had enough of struggling, depression, constant anxiety, and inner turmoil. When you decide that enough is enough. This happens when you become aware and appreciative of the fact that you are on a dead end course leading nowhere, and the end of which may lead to emotional, spiritual, and even physical death. It is at that point in your life when you are finally sick and tired enough of being sick and tired that you change, you have hit your personal rock bottom and are willing to risk the pain of change, knowing there's nowhere to go but up. Only when you are willing to take that risk of thinking and acting in new ways, you will begin to see new life emerge. Regrettably, there are those who have fallen apart quite badly before they are willing to put the pieces of their lives back together in a new and different pattern. Fortunately, you will not be mentioned among them because you are here now reading this book. Instead, you will be among those who read the signs and correct your course, growing stronger and wiser for the effort. This time of transition, people, can be unsettling at its best, but you have the mental and spiritual strength to push beyond the pain, discomfort, fear of the unknown, and the seductive of giving up altogether. Resilience is what I call it. Laura Hillenbrand, author of the bestsellers Sea Biscuits and Unbroken, had this to say about resilience and the transitional experience that ushered her from one season into the next. This is what she said. She said, it started in a very typical way. Very suddenly, prior to that, I was a straight A student, perfectly healthy. I was a very serious athlete. One evening, I was driving back from spring break. I think I ate something that was bad earlier that day and I developed food poisoning. For about 2 weeks, I was very ill with CFS, that is chronic fatigue syndrome. It's typical to have a triggering problem. It could be food poisoning, a bad flu, or pneumonia. I woke up 2 weeks after getting the food poisoning and I simply couldn't sit up in bed. The biggest problem has been exhaustion. I've spent about 6 of the last 14 years completely bedridden. At times, I have been unable to bathe myself. I have gotten so bad I couldn't really free myself, and a couple of times I needed someone to spoon feed me. I have had trouble rolling over in bed. Wow, what a thing. I spent the first year of my illness pretty much in bed bound, and when I began to improve a little bit in 1988, I needed some way to justify my life. I had an idea watching the Kentucky Derby. It was something I could write about, and that hadn't been discussed much. So I wrote an essay and mailed it to Turf and Sport Digest. And that was the start of what became Seabiscuit and Seal Her Destiny as a writer. So you see, if it wasn't for that situation, she would never be a writer. So as we say, out of bad comfort, good. So remember earlier I was reading, I was saying, and I read that our problems sometimes takes us to our present destination where we should be. So if this never happened to her, she would never be a writer. She would never be a writer. All right? So out of bad comfort, good. Despite the continued hardship of her disease, her books have inspired millions. Life can sometimes feel like being in a boat, making its way through a storm. You must adjust the sails based on the winds. Some winds are gale force winds that threaten your health, relationships, finances, and sensibility. In the midst of your storm, you must choose the life you want and then adjust your actions and reactions to ensure that your life continues to flow in the direction of purpose and towards the haven of self actualization no matter what. You do not have to be a victim of circumstances nor controlled and conditioned by the adverse winds. Your environment, or even your own personal setbacks. You do not have to live as a demographic catastrophe, a statistical disaster, nor among the clutter of the common who claim the odds are ever stacked against me. So cannot succeed, cannot prosper, cannot overcome. Defy the odds. Distinguish yourselves as an overcomer. You have weathered many storms, proving that you are indeed seaworthy and storm resistant. Yes. Promise me that when you want to give in or give up, you will keep telling yourself, I am stronger than this. I can weather any storm that confronts me. I did it before and I can do it once more. All right, so Thomas Edison once said, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. So, guys, right now you might be going through a situation, right? Don't give up. Just try one more time. Because sometimes the moment we give up, that's the time the breakthrough comes. And then you say, if me didn't know. So continue to push, man. Don't give up, man. You see, if I had given up on my circumstances, I would not be here today. And I thank God for all my circumstances, all my situation, my problem, whatever. The songwriter say, If I never have a problem, you never know my God will solve it. Say, if I never had a problem, I never knew my God could solve them. And I never know that faith could move my mountain. Said I've got bridges to cross and I've got mountains to climb. I know I'll never make it on my own. Lord, I put my trust in you. There is nothing that I can do. Lord, help me cross my bridges one by one. So, yes. So you see, even with your problems and so, you must have faith. Right? Have faith in God and believe. Believe that you're going to overcome. Alright, so the final subheading for the night it says, problems beg the question, what do you really want? The Bible tells us the story of an impotent man who was trapped by cultural conditioning and self-defeating beliefs for 38 years. He thought he had to wait for an angel to stir the water in the pool and then to be the first one in, even though he had no physical way of getting into the pool. The truth was, however, that he didn't need to get into the pool, he needed to meet Jesus. When he met Jesus, everything changed. Jesus asked him, what do you want? The man was prompted by God to decide for himself what it is he really wanted. Do you want to become a victim of your circumstances, or do you want a better life? Jesus basically said, so be it according to your desire. With that divine directive, the man was empowered to get up and walk into the future of his choosing and to live the life of his dream, and so can you. Could things be the way they are because you are the way you are? What one thing can you change that can change everything? Like the impotent man who gained his mobility, it is a matter of mind over matter. Right where you are. Although you cannot change the past and you might not have the power to alter your present, you can change your future by viewing your current condition as a transition into a new season. Something has to become Something has to come to an end in order for something new to begin. You cannot hold on tightly to the old and grasp the new at the same time. You must release the old in order to embrace the new. You might have to do things differently, but do not give in to the thought that your life has remained the same and that nothing will change. Get up. Take up that thing that represents your dream and put feet to it. Remember, your feet will never take you where your mind is unwilling to go. Are there some signs in your life signaling you to make a change? What is the nature of your particular signpost? And how can you read them to make a course correction? Are there any cycles or patterns you need to break? Are you sensing a change of season? Is there a decision you need to make? Use this opportunity to clear on at least one thing you need to take action on today. And I close with this quote by Conan O'Brien. And he said, the beauty is that through disappointment, you can gain clarity. And with clarity comes conviction and true originality. Here ended. tonight's reading of this lovely book by Dr. Cindy Trimm entitled Prevail, Discovering Your Strength in Hard Places. Thank you all for being here with me. Thank you for all those who came in and supported me with the likes and thumbs up. And thank you. I'll meet you in another video. And remember, guys, what should you do? Tell me. What should you do? Subscribe, man. Subscribe, like, and share. Love you all and see you tomorrow, God's will. Bye.